Head out west. Utah hosts Arizona State in what is to be assumed a massive matchup in what could be a giant game with Big 12 title implications down the road as Utah is looking to bounce back after that Texas Tech loss at home a couple of weeks ago. And Arizona State continues to survive these close games after surviving Baylor, surviving TCU. Again, now they're heading on the road to one of the tougher environments in the Big 12. I am just absolutely jacked up. We should be able to get home from the Colorado game to catch all of this stuff. So, well, you never know. You get caught up. You get caught up in Pearl Street. It comes a long night. You just never know where you end up here. In oopsie days, we missed the game. Things do happen. I'll pass on taking this one. I'll let my other Big 12 supporter take this one first. Justin, give us the rundown for Arizona State, Utah.
Yeah, I mean, my first impression looking at this, I'm surprised the line is where it is, especially with the respect that Arizona State kind of gets as the former Big 12 champion and how they've looked this year. But this is a huge test for Utah. Utah comes into this game still with no Big 12 home wins. Is that correct?
Yep.
I believe that.
I'm sure you pulled that out of somewhere. So
they didn't have one last year.
They beat Baylor at home last year, but it wasn't a conference game.
And then the West Virginia game was on the road. So yes, Utah still looking for their first home Big 12 win. Got the night game that they kind of wanted against Texas Tech instead of that 10 o'clock kick. So that should definitely help them out there. But this is a huge spot for both of these teams. I mean, Utah's already got a Big 12 loss. Arizona State still undefeated in Big 12 play. So that's really big for who's going to kind of fight, I guess, with Texas Tech on seeing who's going to end up getting second in the Big 12 there. But I like looking at the quarterbacks in this matchup. You got Devin Dampier and Sam Leavitt, two of the most mobile quarterbacks in the Big 12 and honestly in the country. Arizona State is 6th in the country in yards allowed. And the last time we saw Utah go up against Texas Tech, they kind of became a little one-dimensional. I felt like their offense, making Dampier be a thrower, really kind of limited that Utah offense. We've seen Arizona State get limited in their passing offense like they did at Mississippi State. So to me, it's kind of how can these two defenses take away the strength and take away the run game of the other team? And in that scenario, I kind of feel like Arizona State's got more in their chamber to lean on with Jordan Tyson in that passing game. So it being a night game in Utah really bodes well for Utah, but I think scheme-wise, Arizona State's got kind of an advantage here.
Arizona State's going to be playing a dangerous game over this next 4-week stretch because they're just such an aggressive defense. And now the matchup for me is Arizona State's defensive line versus Utah's offensive line. Arizona State is 4th in the country with 19 sacks. They like to put pressure on you, and we've seen what pressure does to Devin Dampier when he has to sit in the pocket and throw the football. I think he's susceptible to be struggling at times there. I still feel like Utah lacks a number one receiver, to be completely honest with you. But the Wayshawn Parker, Devin Dampier run game, the 1-2 punch of their read option stuff is really good. So that's got to be priority number one if you can stop it in Arizona State. I don't think you've seen a duo like that if you're Arizona State. Like Sawyer Robertson and Josh Hoover were pass first guys. They got good running backs on both those squads, but you haven't seen two quarterback running back options like this. But here's the other caveat to that. Arizona State is top 10 in rush defense. So they are good at stopping the run. But again, they've seen Blake Shapen. Like they have not seen a mobile quarterback like Devin Dampier yet. So I'm super fascinated to see if that's the anomaly or not. On the other side, are you going to contain Sam Leavitt? Probably not. Utah struggles defending the run. And I think the more chaos you try to put on Arizona State's offense, Sam Leavitt thrives on. He thrives on chaos. He loves to scramble. He loves to get out of the pocket. He doesn't want to sit back there and throw the ball a ton. He wants to create opportunities outside of the pocket with his legs. And then he has the ability to beat you. I mean, he's fast, man. And then he's got probably the number one wide receiver prospect in next year's draft well, as a bailout option. Pretty good bailout option, if I would say. I did hear Jalen Moss, the Fresno State receiver, all-conference guy last year, could return for his first game at Arizona State. So that could be massive for the pass game at Arizona State. So a couple of things I ran through there that are really fascinating to watch. JP, anything else that stands out to you?
Yeah, I was looking at it. It sounds like Moss is going to play just based on what I was seeing on their board today. If he doesn't, don't hold me to it. I'm reading what I'm reading here.
Hey, you saw it.
But does Arizona State find the success on the ground? We talked about it, how this Utah defense is supposed to be one of the better ones in the country, and then definitely in the conference. But they haven't really looked up to that par yet. They've looked good, but they haven't looked elite like we've seen Utah defenses in past. So how does Arizona State continue to use the run game and without it just being the improvising legs of Levitt? And then on the other side, I got a lot of flack, and we got a lot of flack for just talking about TCU, Arizona State, and just where we thought we were on the Arizona State secondary. I still think they're fine. I don't think they're like this unreal strength of the defense. When you give up less than 2.6 yards a carry, I'm going to call the defensive front your strength. But that's just me. We're looking for a new Big 12 guy for all you commenters out there. Apparently, we don't know anything. But
we're pretty right about that game we had previewed.
There's a world where Arizona State just kind of finds a way to keep hanging around and just scratching and clawing and doing everything they can to stay in it. There's also the effect that you're going into Rice Eccles tonight and things get weird. Utah could run away with this one, but it feels like a lot more of the time you're going to deal with a guy who's gritty in Dillingham and gritty and Levitt. And if he gets Moss back and he's feeling really good, how much does he actually use him and not just continue looking the way of Tyson to bail him out of certain spots? You really got to look at Dampier and are we only getting big shot plays out of him in the pass game, or is he going to be able to sit under that? Because if he has to only take big shot plays, then I will take that Arizona State secondary in some spots to go make some plays. So until I see Dampier continually hitting the pass game outside of just taking bigger shots in these games, and I'm not talking about the West Virginia game last week on the road. They were going to do whatever they wanted in that spot anyway. Now you're playing a team that's pretty solid defensively, good against the run. If you have to throw it, what are your options? What does that look like? Are you hitting those guys and making good throws? To be determined. But we should see in this spot. It'll be really interesting because it is late night. It tells you a lot about the Big 12 and it puts Utah on the back burner of getting to Dallas, and it puts Arizona State in the as the number one option to end up there.
Yeah.
With the tough schedule they have coming up.
Texas Tech's next week on deck, man. Unbelievable. That's
and a trip to Ames.
At the end of it.
It's insane.
It's a tough stretch.
We're going to find out a lot about this Arizona State team, as they were my consensus to win the Big 12. I thought they were that good, but they're proving me right so far.
But I had Utah winning the Big 12, and I was really excited about it. But I haven't seen the next step. Maybe this is when we see it.
I think so. Reese, any more thoughts, or just lead us into picks? This is the toughest place to play in college football. That came out of your mouth once upon a time, long time ago. Does Utah finally get their first Big 12 win at home?
It would be an absolute shame if I were to go against the Utes after saying that. But I think, Shafe, you and JT hit the nail on the head when you're talking about that rush attack that Arizona State's defense has. If they make Utah one-dimensional, make Dampier try to throw the ball, I don't think it's going to be that much of a football game. Not saying they're going to blow them out of the water, but I think you're going to give me Arizona State plus the 6. I think they can go in there and win this football game outright. We got to see out of Dampier, like JP just said. If they're going to be taking multiple shots downfield, we'll take that Arizona State's that secondary, and that defensive front has been solid too. If they take away that run game, I just think Utah is going to have to play catch up.
Is this the third straight week I take the Arizona State money line? Took them live down against TCU, took them against Baylor. I'm thinking so. I will be taking the points with Arizona State for every reason that we laid out there. Fine. I mean, show me, Utah. If this is different, show me, and then I'm okay with being wrong. I've been plenty wrong this year before on other things, so prove me wrong, Utah. But I will take Arizona State in this spot. Justin.
This is a really big spot for Arizona State, and I think if anyone's going to go into Rice Eccles and a night game and come out victorious, I do trust Arizona State the most out of all the teams in the Big 12. I guess outside of Texas Tech, outside of Texas Tech. But something that we haven't really touched on with this Arizona State team, kind of like how me and you keep touching on it with Iowa State stuff. This team has dicked around a lot this year and started really slow. They did it against Baylor. They did it against TCU. They did it against Mississippi State. And they were able to overcome a couple of those games, but they weren't able to overcome it at that night spot in that harsh environment in Mississippi State. So as much as we got to see Dampier and that offense kind of come alive, I've got to see Arizona State play 4 quarters of good football. And I just think this is going to be a tough environment, kind of like Mississippi State, for them to kind of go ahead and do that. So I've got Arizona State covering, but I've got Utah winning 24-21.
Okay. I think that's a great point. I'm really interested to see that. JP, the de facto Big 12 team, you taking Utah here? Or is that Kansas State?
I don't know. What?
Your de facto Big 12 team.
I like the program that Dillingham has, and I thought they were the smart pick to take them to win the Big 12 this year. It's 6 is too many for the way these two teams play. And so I'll take Arizona State, but I think I'm with JT here that, like, you can't start slow. You're begging to make something happen late. It's not a place it usually happens. So it's also a spot maybe they stand up and Utah wins by 20. It just looks like the team that we thought they were preseason.
Yeah, this stretch could really –
congratulations, Utah, on the cover and win outright.
Yeah, that's 4. Count it 4 on Arizona State, and you can guarantee Parks
love that out of us. Love that out of us.
You can't sell short. You can't sell short like what do we call it? The hunger aspect of Utah in this game too. Yeah. Arizona State, as much as they lost a game to Mississippi State, they've got a game to lose in the Big 12. I mean, you can lose one conference game. Utah's already got a conference loss. They can't afford to lose this game. Like, their whole season's kind of on the line here. The night spot. I mean, they're going to come out hungry and ready to play. You can count on that.
Yeah, if we're taking outright winners, I'll take Utah, but we're not. So
we take points around here. That's what the real winners do. That's what the real ball knowers do.
Good teams win, great teams cover.
Yeah, and we don't shy away from records here, as Justin and I are the lone 2 guys who are under 500 for the ATS board, but we have plenty of football left. All right, that is Arizona State, Utah. That is